And you know, it's really frustrating applying to entry-level roles, and then you get to the interview and they're like, do you have experience in this, 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 and this? And I don't know what half those fucking words mean, because now we both look dumb. Because why would you pick my resume, and why would you pick me to interview whenever you know there's 100 other applicants that are better fit for the role? Whenever you saw my resume, you saw I didn't have experience in that, you saw I'm a recent graduate. It's just been really hard out here because these bitches are wasting my motherfucking time, and it's like, why won't you even fucking look at the resume? Anyways, if anybody's hiring, let me know.
Hello everyone, this is Emmanuel Cook. We will be reacting to a new video today, so make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's get into the video.
I'm actually losing my mind right now. I have been following all these people and they're always like, oh, the job requirements are like totally like ridiculous. Like, I just don't understand, you know, how an entry-level position will be asking for, you know, 3 to 5 years of experience or whatever. Like complaining like, you know, oh, I'm not, there's no jobs for me, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm with you. I'm right there with you. I thought we were applying anyway. I just saw a TikTok where this girl was like, this is the year, like apply anyway. Apply if you don't meet all the, whatever. I thought that's what we were doing. Like, I saw this thing that was like, oh, men will see that they meet, you know, 40% of the requirements or something like that, and they'll still apply, and women will see, you know, they meet 90% and still not apply. And so I've been under the, you know, crazy delulu assumption that you just fucking apply to anything. Has it worked? Not necessarily. But yeah. What?
How are you supposed to get a job using your degree when all of the employers want you to have 2, 3, 5 years experience on the field? It doesn't make any sense. How am I supposed to get experience if you're not hiring me? Make it make sense. All right, that's all for now. Bye.
Let me tell you why companies want you to have work experience before they decide to hire you. If we use this example, then you will be able to understand why. Let's say we have 2 candidates. Both of them, they are graduating students. The first one has 0 experience, but he is very good with his educational background, and he has learned a lot of different things. Second candidate, this person also has similar education background, but apart from the academic achievement, he has also done a bunch of different projects and has internship experience. We all know the second one is more likely to get a job compared to the first one. So the question is why? If you are an employer, if you are recruiting for someone to work for you, what's the most important thing that you will be concerned about? It's whether you trust this person to do the job well. So if you have a good educational background, it means that you learn really fast and you already have some pre-existing knowledge for certain domains. But knowledge itself is not enough. Oops. On top of knowledge, if you have experience of actually applying to the knowledge and showing that you have used that knowledge to create certain impact, then that is more powerful. Which is why a lot of companies prefer having people who have work experience, and the work experience needs to ideally come from working for someone else. And what you need to show is that you have created certain impacts, whether it's like increasing the revenue or reducing the cost or launching a new product for the company. So the next time when company rejects you because you don't have enough work experience, this is why they think this way. Let me know if this helps.
One thing I absolutely cannot stand is all of these entry-level jobs on LinkedIn or Indeed or whatever say that you need 3 to 5 years of experience. Babe, that's not an entry-level job. Yes, in my undergrad, I did not do any internships or not a lot of research for my major. But an entry-level job, you should not need 5 years experience. That's longer than college.
The problem I'm running into when I apply for jobs is that if they want a bachelor's degree, then they want like maybe a few years of experience with it. If they want a master's degree, then they want like 7 years of experience, at least. There are like no jobs that I have found where they'll count like a master's as experience, which I guess makes sense. Like a master's degree isn't technically experience. I wish it counted as experience because that'd be nice, but it doesn't. So virtually no places are looking for a bachelor's and a master's without experience. But because I have the master's, I'm now overqualified for all of the jobs that are like, we just want a bachelor's. So they won't hire me because I have my master's, which to me, it doesn't make sense, but I don't know. I don't know the logic behind it. But I'm also like, there's a lot of very entry-level jobs that literally just want like a GED, high school diploma, and they pay a very livable wage. And I've applied to one of these jobs. It paid like $27 an hour. I was like, okay, like that pay is very good, much higher than I was kind of looking for, and it just wanted a high school diploma, GED. So I gave it a shot. I applied, didn't get it. And I'm going to assume that it's because I'm overqualified. I don't know. But yeah, I guess I'm just in this rough spot. And there are so many young people like myself that are in that rough spot where we have a bachelor's and a master's, but we're overqualified and underqualified all at the same time. Okay, thank you for listening to my rant. I hope you guys have a great Sunday. Bye.
So I just heard back from a job that I really wanted and I didn't get it. It was for a really great company and I was in the third round, I think, of the interview. I'm not going to say the company, but it was for an influencer marketing position. And I'm just really disappointed because I really wanted to work there. And it was a remote job, which is something I really want. I felt like I really vibed with the people that I'd spoke to in the interview process. The only reason they dropped me is because I messed up the assignment. I guess I misunderstood what they wanted out of the assignment and it messed me up and they dropped me. And it sucks because I feel like they really liked me, and if I had aced the assignment, I think I would have had a really good chance at getting the job. So it just really sucks because it's my fault. I got really disappointed because I've been looking for a job for a while and it kind of felt like my last chance. And I know it's not. I know opportunities will keep coming, but I just really wanted this to happen for me right now so that I could make the moves in my life that I want to make. Yeah, so I just really wanted it to happen now, and I'm just upset that I'm just gonna have to keep going through the process, keep applying, keep interviewing, and hope that somebody finally gives me a chance. I'm just making this to vent and to let anyone else who's in the same situation that they're not alone. It's tough out here, and I hope for me and for you everything works out soon and we land the jobs of our dreams.
Any recruiter or someone in business, whatever it is, please help me make sense of this. I'm so fucking sick and tired of seeing this every time I'm trying to apply for a job. It's nothing new that the definition of entry level has very different meaning from what it actually really means. So I decided to Google it. What does entry level mean? Suitable for beginner or first time user. When it comes to jobs, in my brain, but I could be completely wrong, it translates to 1, maybe 2 years of experience. Why does this shit keep on happening where I'm seeing entry level jobs require 5 years of relevant experience? How does that make any fucking sense? Not only that, but a bonus if you have an MBA, an MS, or a PhD. I don't know, man. I don't know if it's a recruiter thing. If a job requires 5 years of experience, it is not entry level.
And by entry level, we do mean having 8 years of experience.
And you know what the crazy part is, everybody? Is that is the norm for entry level roles. Check this out, everybody. Clearly says entry level role, but it says 5 years required of work experience. Same thing with this one, entry level, but 4 years of experience needed. And again, this one, 2 years of experience needed, but look at all the hard skills that you need. And that's not even the crazy part, everybody. The crazy part is they're probably only hiring one person, but you got senior level applicants who are also applying for these entry level roles. And this is what's so messed up about the job market, because you have senior level applicants applying to entry level roles because they can't find companies to give them interviews with the level of experience that they have. And then you'll run into this issue where they'll say you're overqualified, you'll fit 100% of the qualifications, and you still won't get an interview. So what I always recommend, everybody, is to make sure to always have your resume updated. And most importantly, network with recruiters and hiring managers who are actually hiring. Best of luck, you got this. And how did you know all this? Because you follow me, Jonathan, Words of Wisdom.
Entry level is not actually entry level. It's like mid to senior level. So why call it entry level when it's not actually entry level? It's not for starters. Rename it. Stop confusing people with the language. You know what I'm saying? If you need experience for entry level, that's not actually entry level. It's mid level. So reframe it, like rename it that. So we're all clear.
Entry-level job requirements have gotten out of hand. You decide to break into a new industry and all the entry-level jobs say requires 5 years experience and must have a college degree. This is entry-level, so we're going to pay you shit. How do you break in? You apply anyway. Just fill it out and send it in. Look, 90% of the time that crap is not even added by the hiring manager. It's somewhere else. They just stick the standard de facto bottom on the job description. Ignore it. If it's something that you know you want to get into, apply anyway. And businesses, first off, get rid of all the college requirements and get rid of your years experience. You know it's not true. You're looking for people that can come in and execute. If it's entry level, you're looking to train people. Me and you both know that years of experience doesn't really equal much. Somebody with 5 years experience that's only worked at one company their entire time will have a lot less experience in the market than someone with 2 years experience. So get rid of the things, apply anyway, and let's get entry-level jobs back like they're supposed to be.
Can somebody tell me how you need 2, 3, 4 years of experience to get an entry-level job after doing 4, 5 years in college? You done studied these books. You done stayed up all night. You just stressing trying to get this degree so you can get this job, and they talking about you need about 2, 3 years of experience before you working for free before you can get paid. Make it make sense. Make it make sense.
Tell me why you are interested in this entry-level position. Well, I just graduated and I'm really passionate about receiving a paycheck and affording my rent. Great. And also, do you have 5 to 7 years of experience in this field? I graduated last month. Of course. Got it. So let's talk references. We require 10. 10? I barely know 10 people that would reply to my text. Can I use my mom? I have a nanny job from high school that might count. No, she would not count. But if every single one of your professors from college and your dream company CEO could vouch for you, that would be amazing. And I assume you have advanced proficiency in Excel, Photoshop, coding, and speak at least 2 languages. This is a social media management job. Yes, and we take marketing very seriously here. Got it. So what does this role actually pay? Oh, I'm so glad you asked. We are offering an unparalleled experience with a fast-paced work environment, incredible culture, and $18 an hour. And does amazing culture mean team bonding with free cold brew or getting tagged in company culture posts on LinkedIn when you're working on weekends? Oh, well, we have a ping pong table. Great. I'll just let my landlord know that I can cover this month's rent in best of 3 matches.
A quick reminder, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's continue the video.
Never do internships after college. Do internships when you're in school, but the minute you become entry level, or even before the minute that you graduate, and I know you're not a student in this question, but the minute you graduate, you need to be leveraging yourself to go for full-time / freelance / part-time positions, whatever kind of work you're looking for, because you're right. Internships are looking for students specifically and are going to prioritize them. Secondly, entry level requires 2+ years of experience. Ignore the experience needed for a role when you apply. You need to look at it from a rose-colored lens and look at the responsibilities, look at your experience, and match that together, because years of experience, I've learned, is just a benchmark, and you don't have to follow it through and through to actually get a job that you want. So that's my...
There's an unspoken rule about getting an entry-level job that you generally don't figure out until after you get an entry-level job, and it helps navigate this whole mess of how to get 2 to 5 years of relevant experience for an entry-level job. I also have one statistic that might change the way you go about the whole job search thing. The rule is the 80-20 rule, or if you meet 80% of the job requirements, apply for the job. So that means that if you check all of the boxes and the only thing missing is the 2 to 5 years of experience, apply anyway. And this is because sometimes, just sometimes, employers will put that work experience requirement in there because they don't want to get thousands and thousands of applicants. They're trying to screen people out. But it isn't a true requirement, you know? Now, obviously, if the job requirement explicitly states, like, we want 5 to 8 years of relevant experience for an entry-level job, you're wasting your time. Focus your efforts on better opportunities. And keep in mind, relevant experience can be internships, volunteer work, university projects. anything and everything with transferable skills. That grim statistic that I mentioned, according to the BBC, 43% of new grads enter the workforce and they don't have a college level job. Keep that in mind and don't feel like you have failed or you're out of the norm if you end up with a job unrelated to your degree at first. And that's why
my number one annoyance with the job market. It's like, hey, you need 3 to 5 experiences for this entry-level job that pays $15. Get out of here. All right, if you're a company that does that, get out of here. If you don't have experience looking for a job, it's very frustrating. But yeah, they've just gotten rid of actual entry-level jobs, and this is a way that they can pay you less. So it's frustrating, I know.
So let me tell y'all, just because a job asks for a specific amount of years, that does not mean you need that specific amount of years. It's cool, but I always try to tell people, I could have been doing something for 1 year, but was exposed to way more than someone that was doing 3 to 5 years. When I was consulting, I consulted for about 2 years, and I was doing some of everything. I was building out programs. I was doing implementations. I was doing so many different things that somebody probably wouldn't got their experience probably to 6-7 years down the line, and I was doing this in my 2nd year into the full-time world. So it just really depends. Me personally, I look at the job description. If I see that I have experience with these tools and I feel like I can do the job, I apply. There's been multiple times I applied to jobs that asked for way more years and experience than I actually had, and I still was able to get an offer and get the job. So yeah.
One thing that I really want to do is to empower early career candidates to understand that you all have experience. I refuse to believe that y'all spend all these years in college and you don't have any experience. You have experience, you just may not realize it. Your class projects, that big class project that you worked on before you graduated, that's experience. Your e-board position in your college, in your campus org, that's experience. That early ID program that you did, that's experience. Internships, externships, that is experience. It's all about how you sell it. My first internship in college was a communications internship at Planned Parenthood. And on paper, I didn't have any other college internships before that. But what helped me was, 1, I was a maternal and child health major, so I was really connected to just the cause and the mission of the organization. And 2, I had a blog. So I spoke on my passion, and I also showed that hey, I create content all the time. I'm passionate about writing, passionate about communications. It's all about how you sell it. I really be trying to tell people that everybody has experience. It's all about how you sell it. I graduated Howard University with a degree in maternal and child health, and I got a job working in advertising at TikTok because I wanted it so bad that I leveraged every single experience that I had, and I created a TikTok resume. And I did a couple of extra steps in between to get the role. But at the end of the day, if you want something really, really, really badly, you're going to do what you can. So I encourage everybody. Everybody keeps saying, oh, it's not entry level. Oh, I don't have the experience. You might have the experience and you don't even realize it. I quite understand, literally, if you want this role and you just never worked in marketing the day in your life and you have some random ass degree that's not related to marketing, that's a whole other story. But I really feel especially if you're a marketing major or something, or you're a college grad and you're working in this industry, or you're interested in working in this industry, there has to be something on your resume. So just take my biggest advice, look at what you have and see what are the similarities, what are some things you've done in the past that are similar to some of the roles and responsibilities that is on this listing. You know what I mean? So this is a part 2 to my other video. So if anyone's interested in just my thoughts on what it means to actually be entry level, what is an entry level job, what is the nuance into that, check out the video before this. Thank you.
I read all the comments to my TikToks, and on some of my real harsh truths that I was dropping the other day, namely that entry-level jobs are really, really hard to break into, that led to a lot of people saying, well, this is bullshit because entry-level jobs only pay such shitty rates and yet they expect so much. What they don't understand is how life works. Really, really, they just don't understand it. Now that I've been on the other side and I'm old now, I have seen it, I've been through it, I know what it's like, and I'm also in the recruitment sector. So I really understand jobs and careers now. And the number one thing you have to realize is that everybody at the beginning stage of entry-level jobs, everyone is fighting for a very small supply of roles. So what happens is you got this like high supply of graduates every year, like millions upon millions of students are graduating from all sorts of certifications and colleges and universities and whatever, big, small, top schools, shitty schools, community colleges and like trade schools, blah, 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 everybody, every single person, every year there's millions of people coming into the workforce looking for a quote unquote career, right? Everyone's like looking for that first step. So you have to understand that all of a sudden the supply of jobs in comparison to the supply of applicants is like, I don't know, 10 to 20 to 1, right? For like certain jobs. And then it might be thousands to 1 for other jobs, right? If you want a job at Apple, now all of a sudden your hit rate, like your probability is like your thousands to 1, right? Because like you talk to a class of 4,000 graduates in IT or like whatever, some general tech field, everyone's gonna say, I want to work at a FANG. I want to work at all of these like fancy schmancy colleges. Businesses, right? So you have this humongous hit rate where it's like tens of thousands to 1 job. Like that's the ratio, right? Tens of thousands of grads all want this one job or a small handful of jobs. Could be as few as 30 a year in a specific location, right? I mean, that's how crazy it is because everyone's trying to squeeze into the top few jobs. So what people need to understand about entry-level role, it's not that it pays a certain amount, therefore it should be available to everyone. What they're completely not understanding is like the high volume of applicants that just want their foot in the door. And the people that get their foot in the door, let's say you take the alternative strategy. You go, hey, I'm not going to go for that 10,000 to 1 ratio to work at a FANG. I'm going to go for that 20 to 1 ratio in a much less desirable either location or type of company. And with that, I get my start. Then you get 1 to 2 years under your belt. You do really, really well. You learn all sorts of new skills. Then you can actually increase your odds with experience of not competing against entry-level talent, right? So that's kind of my point, is that every year you will have this like influx of graduates into the market. And knowing that, you just have to play your cards as best you can. And my suggestion is expand your reach, expand your search. Don't just pigeonhole yourself to a certain caliber of jobs, because that is exactly how you waste precious time because you're over selecting. You're being too selective.
I think overall, there are not enough jobs for the amount of new college graduates. There's very short supply and a lot of demand. People are hungry for jobs. They literally need jobs. And so obviously firms will choose the most experienced person from that batch of candidates. And it makes sense, honestly. It makes sense. But it still sucks, It still sucks, so.
Can we have a real and honest conversation about the job market right now? Okay, so I get it. For most positions, especially higher up positions, they want you to have some type of experience, right? But if it's an entry-level job, why do I have to have experience? I just graduated college. Let's go from my point of view, okay? I just graduated college, okay? I have 3 internships under my belt in my PR, communication, social media fields, right? So all the jobs I'm applying to are either entry level or a little bit above because I have had 3 internships under my belt where I have the experience. So I had an interview today and he kept asking me, like repeatedly, kept asking me, how much experience do you have in this? How much experience do you have in this? How much experience do you have in this? And half of them I had no experience in, I can't lie. Because I just graduated college. There's only so much that you can do in college in terms of experience. And I get it. It's good to have experience. But how are you going to offer me? You offered me an entry-level job, because that's not the one I applied to. The one that I interviewed for, I did not originally apply for that. I applied for a little bit higher than that. He, in turn, was like, I think you're a better fit for this job. So let's meet for an interview with this. Great. I like the fact that he seen my resume and then he went off of that and said, you know what, you're a better fit for that. So you would think in the interview, especially since he's seen my resume and all the experience that I've had, he wouldn't ask me so much questions about experience in this, experience in that, experience in that, when I just told you I just graduated college. How are you supposed to get experience if nobody gives you the chance, especially in an entry level position? How are you supposed to get experience if they not even giving you the chance to experience? Bro, I feel like I'm fighting for my life here, and I just don't get it because I'm not asking for much. I just want a job in a career field that I'm interested in. And you're talking about experience. Give me the damn experience so that I can experience and put it under my belt. That's the only way it's gonna happen. Nobody starts out as an expert. Nobody. The only expert I know is Jesus himself, okay? There's no other expert in this world. So for entry-level positions, I feel like it should be, oh, you just graduated college? Okay, let me know what you learned in college. What did you do at your internships? What did you learn? It's not about how many years experience, how much time did you spend. And then lastly, he kept asking me about like software usage, right? Like with social media calendars and things like that, and booking your content or scheduling your content through a certain app. And me personally, I didn't get to do that at any of my internships. It was more of like you just use Google Sheets and you schedule it out that way. And he was like, if you start at this position, you have to learn how to use those things. Sir, I do social media for my own personal gain, right? I don't use a Hootsuite. I don't use none of that stuff. I just write it down in my notes. I want to post this on this day. I want to do it on this day. I'm not gonna just, and mind you, these softwares, they cost money. And usually the company that you're working for pays for it. So you think me, a just graduate with no money is gonna go get a Hootsuite and pay for these different app services when I don't even have a job? No, it's just no. And as I said earlier, if you want me to have experience in software or in a specific field, you have to give me a chance, especially if it's an entry level position. I rest my case. I'm sorry I ranted on, but I just really have to say that because it's been on my mind and it's pissing me off now because every interview I do, how much experience, how many years? None. I just graduated. None. Okay, bye.
What happened to entry-level jobs being entry-level jobs? I'm a work-from-home mom, and honestly, it's been a life-changing experience for me. And I started this free weekly newsletter where I source different jobs that I would apply to if I was trying to become a work-from-home mom and send it out to people along with other resources, different certifications to get. I'm going to bring in recruiters who have tips and stuff. So I spend a lot of time sourcing through the job market. And where did the entry-level jobs go? Where did they go? Can someone tell me where the hell they went? I'm looking for entry-level jobs. When I was applying to jobs, an entry-level job often meant you needed to have an associate's degree or a bachelor's degree, but the experience was like 0 to 1 years. Most of the time, like my college degree counted as experience. It didn't need to be like on the ground work experience. Now, when I'm looking at these entry-level jobs, they're requiring like 3 to 5 years of experience, like actual work experience in the field for an entry-level role. How is the job description going to say this is an entry-level role, but you need 3 to 5 years of experience plus a bachelor's degree, an associate's degree, and all of this other stuff? I graduated college in 2017. I graduated a year early and I had no work experience. I worked at a bar and I worked at Express, okay? I had no professional experience. My degree was in communications. I still got a job as like an entry-level HR associate, paying $18 an hour with no experience. And it was like fairly simple in 2017. That job that took a chance on me gave me the foundation that I needed to get hired into my next job, which was a remote role, which started at $50,000 a year. I was 21 when I got this job, and it truly required like 1 year of experience. It's been so difficult to find jobs that are truly entry level that pay a living wage. Like, something that I'm just so passionate about. I believe that every woman should have their own nest egg, have their own stream of income, have their own money in some capacity. And there's so many women that want this, but don't have the experience, don't have the degree for whatever reason. And it feels impossible to find opportunities that give these women just a chance. Like, come on, an entry-level role should not require 3 to 5 years of experience. It just shouldn't. It shouldn't.
In no world is 3 to 5 years of experience entry level. That's not entry level. Entry level is 0 years. You just got out of college. You just got out of school. You fresh off the press. Entry level. so you can learn. You entering into the job market. Somebody entering into the job market is not going to have 3 to 5 years of experience. When that became the benchmark, I don't know. But these companies like to play around. I've also been noticing this habit of office jobs putting hourly wages instead of paying salary. Why are y'all doing that? Why are you saying that this job is $15 to $17, $18 an hour for a social media manager role? For a marketing associate role? Like, what are we talking about here? Y'all are really trying to play and y'all trying to get away with it. Like, I'm over it. I'm over it. And I'm tired of when you go into an interview, the interviewer always has some lame, dumbass questions like, oh, what made you apply to this role? Why do you want to work for this company? Do y'all not need help? Did y'all not post that y'all needed help? Why are you asking me why I'm here? I'm here because y'all said y'all need help. I read the job description and I have all the qualifications that meet this job, so I'm here to interview for the job. Let's talk about the job. I'm not here to talk about why I applied. Do you need help? Do we align on the help that you need? And when can I start?
And these entry-level jobs are requiring experience, but I'm trying to get the experience for the experience.
This was something I was so annoyed by when I was applying for jobs and I didn't have all the experience for like the industry I wanted to go into, but I've learned a few things. I'm going to share those. I want to add a few tips. So another one is identifying your transferable skills. And a lot of these transferable skills are going to be social skills because in literally any job, you have to have some kind of teamwork or some kind of project management. So identify that experience, identify a certain situation that you combated this, that you fixed something, that you grew like performance for, and tell that story in your cover letter. Post that story on LinkedIn. Show that you are an active learner and an active listener and you're observing your own career journey.
Here's why entry-level jobs seem to require 2 to 3 years worth of experience that you don't have, which doesn't make any sense and isn't fair because they're entry-level. Global financial crisis, that big recession that happened back in 2008, a whole bunch of people got laid off. And all the mid-level people who got laid off were panicked and freaking out and needed to figure their own shit out. And so they went and took jobs that were too junior for them. Perhaps they took, an entry-level position. What that did is that set a really bad precedent over the last 13 years that has continued on to this very day that we're speaking right now. And it meant that entry-level jobs could then require 2 to 3 years of experience because 13 years ago, they had this entire workforce that was too senior for the roles that they had. Giant problem. And so your colleges and universities have not, over the last 12 to 13 years, figured out a way to make up for this gap. That's a very polite way of me saying that they move rather slowly in these kinds of situations. And so you're not crazy for thinking that it's really hard to break into the workforce, because it is.
My recommendation for looking for a full-time entry-level job is to go through your college and see who is trying to recruit specifically at the place that you're going to school. I feel like nobody really says this out loud, but the actual entry-level jobs, these companies will go to universities that they know about. They'll go to the big state schools, they'll go to the Ivies, anything in the area that has accredited programs, honestly. So I work in the Baltimore area, so my school does a lot of recruiting at University of Maryland, Towson, pretty much any of the DC and Baltimore area schools. The entry-level jobs are pretty much advertised, and the only way to get to them is through these career fairs. Because I'm telling you, every other entry-level job listing that's on LinkedIn, Glassdoor, those kinds of places, HireX, whatever, they all say like X amount of years of experience. And you can count internship stuff, you can count research projects, things that have taken place during your time in college. But I only had so much luck with LinkedIn. Like, I think I had 1 or 2 job interviews. Obviously, this is not going to be the case for every single company, but this is what I've seen at places I've worked at, places that my friends have worked at. In the late summer, fall of 2022, when I was applying for full-time jobs, I applied to a lot through my university, and I think I had 1 or 2 interviews from LinkedIn. I think it was because I had internship experience. Like, I had already had experience. But if you are in college and you are trying to get a full-time job that is related to your degree, you need to go to the college's job board posting and look at who is trying to specifically get graduates from where you are going to school.
I think it just depends on your school network and how good it is. If they have a really good network, then a strategy like that would work. But if they don't, you're sort of out of luck, honestly.
Good morning.
So my name is Natasha and I am a corporate recruiter for a specialty gas company. And today we're going to give you some tips. So I see a lot of people that are looking for jobs and they're seeing that every job is saying entry level is 2 to 3 years. Apply for the job. Most of the time, companies are using this as a filter to get more qualified candidates. So they say entry level, but they're looking for 2 to 3 years. But what are recruiters for? Most of the time, recruiters will look at your application no matter what. Me, I personally look at all my applications. So it doesn't matter how many years of experience you have. If you fit the job, you fit the job. So apply for it. Make sure when you do apply for these jobs that are looking for 2 to 3 plus years in an entry level position, that you're using transferable skills of what you're doing. Yeah, you don't have experience, but you have went to school, you have worked before. And if you have, make sure that the skills that you're putting on your resume matches the job responsibilities and qualifications. That's the tip of the day.
I think it's so interesting as I'm applying to jobs, seeing like entry level jobs and stuff like that require so much experience, and it's like nobody wants to train anyone anymore. And I think what they don't realize is that there's going to be a huge skill gap once all the like older generations start retiring and you have all these new people, like all the, you know, recent graduates, and everyone won't know anything because nobody wants to train them. And I feel so bad for them because I was struggling couple years ago when I was a recent graduate, and it's not even any better. Like if it's an entry level job, it should require no experience. That's what entry level means, entering into the job market.
I feel like we need to rephrase the definition of an entry level role, because why are entry level jobs requiring experience? Is it not by definition a job that requires no experience if it is entry level? It's a job you get once you enter the workforce. So why do you need to have work experience to enter the work? Like, that doesn't make any sense, especially if the job is requiring some sort of degree or specialized education. Does that not count as experience? Because why the fuck did I go to college? Why the fuck did I get my master's? And if this is entry level but you want me to have experience before this, but there's no lower job before this, what does that mean? It sounds like to me it's a fucking scam, and you're trying to get overqualified people to take jobs that pay way fucking less, and you're screwing over people who are entering the workforce, went and got their education, have bills to pay, have big brains to use, and you won't take advantage of it because you're cheap.
I appreciate you guys watching the video today. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.